Yeah.
Eating yasso.
It's a little bit freezer burnt, I feel like.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for day 22 of Vlogmas. We are almost at the end. It's crazy that we're almost done with these daily vlogs. This is my little sister. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Olivia Russ.
Yeah, but tell us about you a little bit.
Oh, well, I am in 8th grade. Yeah. I'm 13 years old. I'm gonna turn 14. And, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I figure like most 13-year-olds will turn 14.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna turn 14 in like a couple months. You know what I mean? Like 3 months.
Okay. So, what are your interests?
I like playing soccer. I play soccer.
She's on the all-star team. She plays on a co-ed team. She plays with a bunch of boys.
True.
And she was chosen to be on the all-star team, right?
Yeah. I went to a tryout and I made it. I was really, really excited.
What position do you play?
I play defense.
You like it?
It's my favorite position.
What do you like to do? What are you into?
What am I into? I like hanging out with my friends. That's one of my interests. It's really fun. My friends are like really good people, so I'm cool with that.
Good people.
Good people.
You're still into art a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I like my art sets. Like, I try to do it when I can. And, I don't know. I haven't had, like, a whole lot of time for it, though, right? Like, lately. Just because of, like, soccer and, like, all my homework and stuff like that. But, I mean...
Well, today you spent, like, the entire day doing art, right?
Yeah, it's true. I was making Christmas presents all day. So...
We left this morning at, like, 10:30. And came back at 6:30. And she was in the exact same seat doing the same thing.
Yeah, I was basically in the same spot all day.
She was painting.
Yeah.
And drawing. Christmas gifts.
You should see your Christmas presents. They're great.
I'm very excited. I'll show it in the Christmas vlog. Cool. So, like, what other things? Like, how would you describe yourself? Like, what are your passions? Like,
Well, I'm in leadership, which is awesome. I've been in leadership all 3 years of middle school. First year I was in Senate, second year I was in ASB, and then this year I'm in Web. I don't think people know what Web is, though. It's like, it stands for where everyone belongs. So basically what we do is like all the incoming like 6th graders at Chevela, yeah, I already said that. They like, we're sort of like their mentors, like a big brother or sister sort of thing. Like, we go out to like their lunch and we like hang out with them, and we're sort of like their mentors, so like they're not all like scared. Like, when they first come in, we like make them feel comfortable.
yeah.
So it's sort of like when they like come into the school, they know that like if they have any questions or they're having any problems, like they can rely on us for that. So that like they already have like a friend coming into school, instead of like, because, you know, like when I was a 6th grader, like I came in and like I knew nobody.
That's, long story short, there's 3 different middle schools in our town, and all of the elementary schools filter into those. And the elementary school that she went to, everyone there filtered into a separate middle school. So she had to go to a middle school where no one else went to it.
Yeah. So I had like 3 friends, because I only, like, those were like the only 3 people from my elementary school that went to my middle school.
So have you had good experiences? Have you gotten to mentor like certain people that you've had like good relationship with? Or?
Well, yeah, I mean, it like varies, because like some of the 6th graders, they're like really into like having us there, but there's like the other ones that are like really like, they're not into it, you know what I mean? Like when we come out to 6th grade lunch, they like don't want to talk to us. I feel like they're just like really...
Are they like embarrassed or something? Or?
I don't know. So you have to like try harder to get to know them, because usually they're the ones that like you want to get to know, because they think that they're like too cool for like you, but like in reality, because there's been a couple that like thought that, but then like when I actually like got to know them, like I kept on trying to get to know them, you know, and like finally they like opened up and they were like great, but it just took like more time to like actually get to know them in that way, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you've got to like be patient, you've got to take time. So do you think that that's been like really rewarding for you to have that kind of like hands-on, you know, like versus like Senate and ASB is something where you're like in leadership and you're kind of overseeing events that happen on campus, whereas Web is something where you're much more hands-on, like actually making an impact on campus community. And,
yeah, exactly. Like, when I went into 8th grade year, I I put in an application for ASB and web because I just, you know, just to have like a fallback one. But I got into both, but I decided that I wanted to try out web because since I was in ASB last year, for like planning dances and stuff like that, that was all great. But I had friends that were in web and they were telling me about it, and I really wanted to like have that like hands-on like experience because I thought that it would be like really cool and like it would make me feel like really good to just be able to like help out like a 6th grader and like make them feel good about the school and stuff like that instead of just like planning a bunch of events.
Yeah, and I think that really like ties into your personality because I think that's something that you've told me before is that people really like come to you for advice all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, so what is that like? Like, do you feel like you're kind of like, are you the mediator in your group of friends, or are you like the confidant, or like what's sort of like your role? Because I know that you have a huge group of friends. Like I like follow her on Instagram and on Snapchat and like she's always like around like a huge group of friends and that's her thing. So what's that like?
I have other friends that are like really good at like giving advice and stuff like that too. Since I am in such a like huge group of friends, there's like sometimes like people get in fights and stuff like that, arguments, and usually they like come to me to like try to help them sort it out or something like that. So yeah, you could say like I'm sort of like one of like the mediators of like my group, and it's like I guess I know how to do that because like in 6th grade we got like certified as like peer mediators in Senate. It was like something that like everyone in Senate did, so I mean, yeah.
So you understand sort of like how to have good dialogue, how to have good conversation, and
yeah,
I know like something that you were telling me in the car was like how you were able to talk to one of your friends through kind of a situation he's going through.
One of my close friends, he came to me and he asked to talk to me, and I was like, yeah, sure. So we went somewhere private, and he told me that he thinks that he might be gay, and I was like, well, I mean, so I just like gave him some advice on that. I was like, well, I mean, whatever, like, if you think that you're gay, like, that's totally fine. It's like, it's who you choose to be, really. It's like,
it's who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, he can't, or I told him that he shouldn't let anyone try to change that or tell him that that's not okay, because if that's how he feels, I mean, that's up to him. It's not up to anyone else.
But he was nervous, right?
Yeah, he was afraid that, because he said that he thinks that he might be, so he wasn't completely sure. And he said that he was afraid that if someone suspected that he was, they would just like say it and just like tell everyone, and he doesn't even know if he actually is or not.
Yeah, so I
he
mean,
was
it's
just
very
like
vulnerable.
Yeah, so he just told me he was like having conflicting feelings, and he just needed to tell someone about it, and I was like, yeah, that's totally fine. And I tried my best to like encourage him through that and like make him feel more safe about it. And he just told me that he was very grateful, and he said that once he figured it out more and like went through life a little bit more and like figured out figured out himself more, you know what I mean? Like got to know himself more, he would feel more comfortable telling other people.
Yeah.
And just like,
but I think that says a lot about like who you are if he can come to you and like say like, look, this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
I feel like that shows at least like you have given him that space to be vulnerable with you, you know, and I think that's so important that someone can trust you with that, you know. I want you to tell like the other story that you told me. This is so funny. This is the story that Olivia told me like just a little bit ago, and I was like, oh my god, I was dying laughing. Was it winter formal?
Yeah, it was a winter formal.
Okay.
So, like, everyone was dancing together, like, we were all, like, all the girls were dancing with, like, all the guys, it was really fun, and then, I had this one friend that I went with, and we, like, it was, like, the last song, it was, like, a slow song or whatever, we didn't have dates, we just, like, went with each other, and so both of us, we, like, went over into, like, the food area, and we were, like, getting, like, pizza and stuff like that, and then this kid, it was, like, this guy, I don't even know who he is, or I, like, barely knew who he was, he, like, came up to me, and he asked me to dance, and I was, like, well, yeah, sure, I just need to finish my pizza first. So,
she's like, the pizza, and he's like, hey, do you want to dance with me? Like, works up the nerve to ask my sister to dance, and she's like, I mean, sure, but like, can I finish my pizza first?
There was ice cream there were cookies, there was like a bunch of desserts, it was just really good, and then I needed water too, it was just a long night of dancing.
Pizza and candy and food over men. Like, I mean, like, if you just, like, kind of had that mentality for Evs, then I think that you're in, like, a good spot.
Good area.
Yeah, that's good. Obviously, your mentality on, like, what you want to do is going to change.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I knew from a very, very young age that I loved literature, that I loved English. Like, I knew I either wanted to be a lawyer or I wanted to be a teacher. I've always known that. When I tell people, oh yeah, I teach English literature at the university, they're like, oh yeah, that's very much an Ilyssa thing. Like, you would do that if they knew me well in grade school. So
Yeah.
do you think, like, are there certain things that you're into?
Well, right now, I mean, I might be taking after you a little bit here, but, like, right now, like, language arts is, like, one of my favorite subjects. Because I just really like writing stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's a really good writer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've read your work. It's good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm her sister. Like, to be fair, well, and to be exact, my mother sent me this piece that she wrote, and I was like, I literally edited it. I was like, okay, well, I mean, there's this, and I think if she had done this, like, I don't think, I don't think mom ever send you?
Mom showed it to me. I was like, she's right. I could have done that.
Because I was like, well, I mean, I think that this was okay. I think that this is the word that she should have used here. My mom goes, she's 13. Like, you know, you're like grading her as if you would be grading like your college students. And genuinely, like, her work is very good. But of course, like, I hold her to the expectation because she's so smart. Like, if you haven't figured that out already from listening to her speak, like, she's a very, very intellectual 13-year-old.
Yeah, so language arts, I think science is really cool. I don't know, I just really like doing, like, the experiments, to be honest. I don't really like anything else about it.
That was me.
Yeah, and I mean...
Well, because you like hands-on stuff, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's just more fun to do the experiment than all the written stuff, but I guess that's...
Well, I feel like you would really like computer science then, because computer science is like, you're just experimenting all the time. Computer science, you're writing code for stuff, and you're just constantly experimenting. You should absolutely, when you're in high school, you can take a computer programming class.
For real?
Yeah,
I should do that.
They have it as an elective. If you like that idea of experimenting and creating, I think that you would really like computer science. Because you love computers, too.
Well, yeah, that's really cool, then.
She's been an artist for a lot of her life. She's always been drawing and, like, pottery and creating, and she has a pottery wheel, and like, she's very, very good artist as well. So she
drew all the Christmas presents today.
Yeah, she drew all the Christmas presents today. She's just very, very creative minded, and so that makes sense that you like writing creatively and stuff like that. But I think if you like the experiments, you might want to try out computer science. It's something to try. You've never like had the opportunity,
for sure.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, might as well try it. Like, you can't really knock it till you try it. I guess you can use that expression.
Yeah, that was definitely not me. Like, I'm just like, no, I'll knock it and I'll never try it. Because I'm like, no, one thing at a time. That's interesting. Okay, so the language arts, you like that.
Yeah. And then last year, I really wasn't into social studies. I didn't really care that much. But this year, like, American history, or like, because, so my social studies teacher, like, we watch, like, CNN student news, like, every time we're in classes like that, and just, like, learning about, like, the stuff we are now, I'm, like, really interested in it. I'm like,
you mean like contemporary society, like the election, like that type of stuff?
Yeah, like we were talking about that stuff. I like learning about all the stuff that's like happening now.
Today.
Yeah, so like we've been talking about like all the wars that are going on in the world, and just like the election, all that.
Do you
stuff.
talk about like Syria and Aleppo and that?
Yeah, we've been talking. That's like all been in
the refugee crisis.
Yeah,
and...
we have like discussions about it like after we're done watching the CNN student news. I like learning to do stuff like by actually doing it rather than just like hearing about it. I guess because I won't get it as well. I won't process it as well as like I would actually doing it.
See, that's very different from me too, because I'm much more like I like to listen, I like to read, and I like to I don't know. Like I like to think about stuff a lot. So I like having conversation back and forth. I don't like working with my hands is really not like my thing.
Of course there's math. I mean, I'm good at math. I can do math, but I don't like math. If you give me like an equation or something like that, I can solve it, and like I'm doing well in math, but I'm not passionate about math. If you just said like, would you rather like write a 10-page essay or do like 100 math problems, I'm probably gonna do the essay.
Do you think that's primarily because of like your personality, or like, because I mean we've had this conversation I think before, like there are, you know, women aren't encouraged to do math. You know, like women in particular, like young women are not encouraged to be in science, to be in technology, to be in engineering, to be in mathematics. Like STEM, there's just really not that. I mean, more so today, I guess there is. Yeah. But it's much more of like a male-dominated field. And do you think that has any implication on like why, or do you think it's purely just kind of out of your personality?
I don't think that there's like anything like, oh no, I don't want to do math because like all
that's
these
a boys
men are
thing.
doing, I don't. It's not that. It's like I can totally like in class I like excel in math, but it's not, I don't know, I'm just not passionate about it. Like I don't want to like be a mathematician when I grow up. It's just not what I want to do.
Yeah. I know you've told me in the past and stuff, you're like, yeah, like I consider myself a feminist, and
Yeah.
like are you able to have those kinds of conversations with your friends, or like what do you think, like at least for you, like what constitutes like feminism? Like what is a feminist?
A lot of people at my school, or just like in general, I think a lot of people, when they hear the word feminism, or like feminist, they think man hater, and that's not what it is. It's just like, I consider myself a feminist because I believe that women deserve to have equal rights with men, and so I think that a lot of the time, if like I call myself a feminist at school, people are like, well, actually, okay, this happened to me one time because it was like a couple months ago or something like that, and I was talking to a couple of my friends, and we were talking about feminism. I was like, yeah, I consider myself a feminist. And my guy friends, he came up to me and he was like, you can't be a feminist. I was like, what? What do you mean? And he was like, well, cause like you have a lot of guy friends. I was like, what's your point? And he was like, well, like you wouldn't be a feminist because you don't hate guys. And I was like,
yeah, your definition of feminism.
yeah, I was like, well, I am a feminist. I don't hate guys. Feminism does not mean that I hate guys. Like, what? I was like really confused.
So were you
like,
able to kind of like educate him a little
yeah,
bit?
I was like, being a feminist doesn't mean I hate guys. It means I believe in equal rights for women. And he was like, oh, it looked like his mind was just like blown. I was like, yeah, you were not educated properly on what a feminist is, because that's not what it is at all.
And everyone's definition of feminism is going to be a little bit different depending upon, I guess, who they've encountered. But I think if you keep that at the forefront, that like women have systematically not been equal to men, and feminism is this fight for women to be equal to men, and you know, it's going to be different too in different parts of the world, and the fights that we have here in the Western world, especially in the United States, are not nearly as probably deep and dramatic as the fights that women have. Like, there's a difference between a woman who, you know, can't breastfeed in public here you know, versus a woman who can't bare her face, you know, in other parts of the world for fear of,
for sure,
you know. But that doesn't mean that we can't like continue to fight for the things that are important to us. But I think it's something, you know, important for you to even realize as a young white woman is that you as a young white woman, your fight is not going to be the same as like, you know, one of your friends of color or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
They're different, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have a lot of friends that are of like different ethnicities, different colors, and like I know that like what I go through is not nearly as bad as like what they will encounter in the future, or what like their families have encountered. And I can't if like I don't know, if something happens to me, like someone says something to me, I have to like remember, like if I'm talking to them about that, I have to remember that they've probably encountered like way worse than what was said to me. So it's like I have to be like,
you just have to be conscious, you know? As you get older and as you go into high school, like, you're going to experience much more. Like, you're going to experience the world in such a bigger way, and problems get bigger, but it sounds like, for you, middle school's actually been kind of okay. Like... Yeah,
middle school's actually been really good for me so far.
See, middle school was not good for me. Like, middle school was a really, really hard time for me, but you think, like, in general, middle school's been good?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, things have happened, like, in middle school, I guess. Like, things that haven't been that great, but, like, I've had, like, a lot of great experiences in middle school. I've been doing well with my, like, I've gotten straight A's, like, all throughout middle school. It's, like, my friends are great. It's just, middle school's been pretty good.
So, if you guys have any other questions for Olivia, please let me know down in the comments. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and our little chat. If you got this far and you listened to the whole thing, hopefully people didn't, like, shut it off halfway. They're like, this girl is stupid. No, they probably didn't do that. And I hope that you enjoyed watching us eat our yassos.
Oh, yeah. It was really good. I've never had one.
I really want to go eat Christmas cookies now, but...
We have Christmas cookies. We have sugar cookies, like frosted sugar cookies.
Yeah. Okay, guys. We will see you back for Vlogmas Day 23 very soon. And that's it. You want to give me a little hug? Oh. This is my baby Susan. I love her. Oh, did I just scrape your tooth?
You just, like, hit my mouth.
Give me a shout.